Murphy's Law. You start looking for moose, you see elk. Unfortunate for them, we got a guy who has an elk license too.
Guy drew a once-in-a-lifetime moose tag, and the pressure is on.
If you're gonna be an elk hunter, you gotta be tough and dumb. And I think we're a little bit of both. 4 miles, 1,000 foot up, 2 more hindquarters to get. The fronts, neck meat, back straps out on this first load.
Yep, pull the other one in the same spot and bring it up to the tongue.
Okay. I think 2 blocks thick, huh? 3 inches. Okay.
And this thing level. There's a little trial and error. We could have gone back a little bit more maybe, but it's pretty flat here. So we're just blocking her up. Looking better.
Pretty close, I think.
Pretty dang close.
Yep, pretty close with our official water level. Yep, close enough for us, right?
Oh yeah.
All right.
All the tools, all the tricks and tools of the trade.
It's a giant bear-proof container.
Hi, I'm Dan Pickar. Welcome to Moose Camp, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Grid. This is a special episode, a special hunt. Guy drew a once-in-a-lifetime moose tag. You know, you have one shot at this, so you want to really make the most of it. So patience was key, persistence was key, and finally we found the bull that Guy was looking for and an encounter of a lifetime on a truly magnificent Shiras moose. So come along with us and enjoy the action and the beauty of the high country of Wyoming, looking for Shiras moose.
That didn't take long. Murphy's Law. You start looking for moose, you see elk. Unfortunate for them, we got a guy who has an elk license too. So we can shoot anything with antlers. It's a 6-point bull, Digi. He had 2 cows when I first saw him. Did they see him? I think so. They moved off to the right.
Well, you did it. You drew a moose tag, once in a lifetime.
Finally, 20 years.
20 years in the making.
20 years I've been applying, studying, researching for 20 years, and they finally gave me a tag.
And it's not easy. It's becoming harder and harder to draw a moose tag anywhere in the West.
Yeah.
Not only more applicants, but we're losing tags every year.
Yeah.
For example, I do the Montana MRS, and in the last decade, Montana has lost half of their moose, sheep, and goat tags.
Yeah.
And Wyoming's no different, and Idaho's losing some too, gaining some in some areas. But it's a declining resource. Is it sustainable? I don't know.
I hope so. You know, this Wyoming in general had about almost 1,300 bull moose tags when I graduated high school, and now we're down to just under 400. You know, adds a little more pressure because it's a one-time deal whether you punch it or not. You get one chance.
we doing that right, Tim? Oh, pretty close. Okay. This looks like a good spot here. We're a little early, 20th of September. These moose rut actually about the first 10 days of October is peak rut. They're about 2 weeks behind the elk. So we're kind of pre-rut now, but in October, once the leaves fall off these willows, they'll really move into the flats. But what we're hoping to do is catch a big bull back in one of these pockets like this. They're in the timber, but we're hoping we can maybe call one out to the edge of the willow flat and get a look at him. If he's big enough, get a shot. Ooh!
So what's some of the keys to moose hunting?
This area we're hunting, it takes a lot of days. There's big bulls, not a lot of moose. They're in here, they're spread out, it's a huge area, but it takes on average almost 11 days to kill a moose. So that means that some people did it in 3 days and some people took 20.
Yeah. The glassing in this country, it reminds me a lot of Canada kind of, or Northwest Montana.
We have beautiful bluebird skies today. Temperatures are rising. Expect highs in the -8 degrees Celsius. So we're gonna do what we always do. We're gonna cool off when it's hot. So we're gonna take a little swim in Crystal Lake and get cool. Refreshing.
If you kill a bull that's 50 inches, you jump in your skivvies. Okay. Or we could just do whoever kills the bigger bull.
Bigger bull, the smaller one has to jump in.
The bigger one.
The bigger one?
Yeah. The bigger bull gets the punishment. It looks cold. Okay, so whoever kills the biggest one jumps.
And does it ever stink? You can sure smell it. So the bull rutted up this area and he urinated in it, and the smell is just overpowering. One of the most interesting things about moose behavior is their wallows, rut holes, or pee holes as we like to call them. A bull moose, as he's looking for cows, he'll paw and dig up the ground, urinates in that, and then rolls in it. Then he's gonna step in it, walk off. A cow moose finds this pee hole. She puts her legs together, pees down the backs of her legs, steps in it and walks off herself. The bull, he comes by around, checks his pee hole, smells the cow has been there, and then follows her. Big bull. Really big.
But to call a bull in that quickly, right out of the gate, was
That's crazy.
That was very fortunate.
It's surreal to actually be here doing it. Big mature bull moose on the ground with some of my best friends out here. It doesn't get any better. Back in 1992, my dad killed a moose in Montana, and that just put a bug in me to, man, I gotta hunt these someday, and this is unbelievable.
You've killed a moose yourself up in Canada, and so you spent a lot of time calling up there and with those guys who do it all fall, every fall. And so you learn from those guys and brought those techniques and that skill down here, and it really paid off.
Well, that's good. Volume's carrying. So we're looking for moose. But it's a good sign. He came out on that point. He heard us calling moose, so if he can hear us, a moose can hear us.
Shiras moose used to be called a Wyoming moose way back when, because we were one of the only, if not the only place that had them. Now they've transplanted them there in a lot of different states, but the Shiras moose is a mountain moose. It's a different type of animal than most other moose as far as habitat is concerned, and they can live anywhere. I've seen them up above timberline at 11,000 feet with a cow, and then, you know, of course, down in the willows in the winter. So they can be about anywhere, which makes it tough. It literally is a needle in a haystack.
A lot of green timber, rolly hills, it's hard to glass. And so it's a totally different tactic from what we're used to deer and elk hunting in the West.
We got a fiasco going on in here. Dan and Justin walked past some elk that were bugling. I think they're in on them now. So we're kind of locked down right now because the elk are just over this hill. And I don't want to mess their setup up. Following this elk trail around. There's bulls bugling down here. Just had an encounter with a young bull. We're trying to get our bearings on some bugling elk. They're across this draw. I think they're just over the crest. Sometimes when you're not in line of sight of them, it's really, really hard to pinpoint them. So we're just taking our time. This is our chance to go slow and be calculated and try to really hear where the bugles are coming from so we can plan our approach. My brother forgot his water, so I gave him my extra. But I got this. I got water all day.
Steps and I had a lane between two lodgepole like this and a hole like this, and I might have clipped one of the limbs or something that's right in front of him, and then he came over here and I shot him a second time. That's a blood trail.
Look at.
The hide is in there for eternity.
Yeah. In a dead tree.
That's why you shoot an Evolution Hide 30-yard recovery. We're gonna debone just to save on weight. Of course, we're doing gutless method. It sure is easy to have two people when you're gutless method in an elk. It's pretty difficult by yourself. It's a ton of work, but
Go that way. There we go.
Two extra hands make all the difference. So, real quick, as these bulls are bugling, crazy. The easiest way to get ivories and the quickest way is to get a stick, like a solid stick, like not a rotten one. This is like solid dry wood, and a hammer rock with like a flat surface. So you break a stick and you get like a nice 90-degree angle with an edge on it that'll like really grip the ivory. But you can see the ivory on the side. We're gonna use this side. We're just winging it, but we're putting it right on the front and then taking the rock, giving it some taps. Yeah, you might have it split on you. It might take a couple more tries, but this is the easiest way to do it instead of trying to solely just cut it out. See, it's almost free. You might even be able to push it out. It's really close. But you're just kind of working it around here. But if you don't have a saw to cut a nice square end. Oop, there it went, it just launched. There you go, there's your ivory. Quickest, easiest way, sticking a rock, a nice hard stick. Okay, there you go.
You need to cool down a little more, huh, Timmy? Get a little of white stuff.
It's good for moose hunting, huh? Not good for packing out elk.
Well, here we are. Yep. If you're gonna be an elk hunter, you gotta be tough and dumb. And I think we're a little bit of both. 4 miles, 1,000 foot up, and we still have 2 more hindquarters to get.
The gummies, the gummies, the gummies.
Just never know where they're gonna pop up.
In here somewhere. We wondered if there was going to be gummies around. Now we know.
First sign really we've
Yeah.
seen of them.
I wasn't here last night, but it's in the middle of the night.
Yep.
Enough country.
Looking for carcasses.
We've been hunting for 5 days, never saw a moose. We got a cold snap, it snowed in here, it's frosted real hard. And last night I saw 2 bulls in one night. So what happens is that pre-rut phase, those bulls, they get in the timber, they just lay up, make rut pits, and polish their horns. You know, they're really secluded at that time. And then all of a sudden, once the dam breaks, they start traveling looking for cows. And that obviously happened yesterday or the day before. So now they're starting to travel. It's low density, high quality. It's basically just a search and destroy mission. We'll get after it and see what we can muster up here. Nothing here, Jimmy. Move on, huh?
You just can't cover enough country on foot to really do the amount of miles you need to find a big bull, unless you know where they're at. And horseback, you know, guys do well on horseback, riding up the creek drainages. But you just have to cover country. And here's the problem. They're moving too, so they may not be a moose here today. You come back tomorrow, there's one there.
Yeah.
Kind of what we did was we had big loops we would run and just checking. And eventually we'd find moose in a lot of those spots, but it took days and days and days for it to happen.
We're using all the resources that we have at our disposal to be mobile, to cover the country, and to really make the most of our time when we're in the field. And unit in this country, it's driving roads.
Yeah.
Maybe motorcycle. I did a little bit of mountain biking,
Yep.
but we're driving roads and making the rounds, you know, especially in the morning, especially in the evenings.
Logging roads, some of them decommissioned, some still active, all different processes. Some you had to bicycle, some dirt bike only, some side-by-side, some truck, and so we had to use everything at our disposal to find a mature bull. There's probably 1,000 bull elk in here, or more, maybe 2,000, and less than 100 bull moose.
Especially when you're being selective. I mean, we found bulls,
Yeah.
but you know, not the right ones.
You walk away from almost every one going, man, should I have shot that, you know, on the last day, you know, and you get toward the end of the season, I'm sure you get really, really panicked.
Yeah.
So
You want to get there. You don't want to get panicked at the end.
We don't want to go into November if we don't have to.